welcome to the third game of the evening. Up this time is Cash Cow DX. Cash Cow DX is a fast and furious blast from the past with 80s inspired arcade experiences, released 40 years late. Um, so I guess it's worth noting that this comes to us from the developer of a game we reviewed some time back. I think it was last year in Donut Dodo. Um, but as far as I can tell, this game isn't a successor or a spiritual successor to that. Um, Galax was assigned to this particular review, so over to him for the details.
So, as everything about it suggests, this is basically an arcade game as found in the classic era of arcade slash early years of the NES or so. The
If I
graphics
had to
like
play,
better than
yeah,
Atari.
if I had to place it about 1985, 1986.
hmm Which about fits what they said in the promo thing. So, yeah, it's you are your goal. You are Cash Cow. All of your Mooney was stolen by Party Pig and his underlings.
Do they really call it Mooney?
Yes, it's right. Look at the top of the screen.
Ugh.
Well, when he gets into it, you die if you touch any enemy or any enemy touches you. The only really modern things are submitting your high score online, and it has various difficulty modes that may or may not have been there, and an endless mode, and a couple of other things. You start out with 3 lives, and you get an extra life every 100,000 points, I think.
Hmm.
Any enemy you touch kills you. If you get one of the sparkly jewels, it turns all of the jewels into prettier jewels that are worth more points, which is the way to apparently get enough extra life. I could not get past the third stage of this, and I watched a playthrough, and apparently the way you get enough lives to, you know, succeed is by doing really well at the earlier stages, because you have 3 lives and you can get significantly more than that. There's also, Petty, if you drop into the pipe right below where you start this time, there's a pickaxe there that works very similar to the hammer in Mario Brothers. Uh,
Donkey Kong.
yeah, in Donkey Kong, rather. It makes you able to defeat enemies. It also, there is in each stage a dotted line wall that can be broken with the pickaxe for access to a bonus stage that functions like the barrel shooting puzzles in Donkey Kong Country, albeit each one only has 2 options, where you collect the letters extra by doing 5 of them because there are 5 stages in the game. And then a final boss fight against Party Pig.
Did did they really start off with the all your monies belong to us?
They
Yep.
did.
So yeah, that is pretty much the entire game. Each stage has a different gimmick. The first one has those loop-de-loops straight out of Sonic the Hedgehog. The second stage has trampolines. The third stage has freaking what was it? The third stage has floats that kind of tilt back and forth and have 2 stories. And then the last 2 stages that I didn't actually get to, but I looked at them, they have mine carts and zip lines,
The
which
zip
just
lines are
put
fun.
yeah, which just put a kink in traversing the stage. Generally, when you're doing the gimmick, except for the platform one, you are at least immune to the enemies. The enemies there are literally only the 3 different kinds aside from the final boss, and they all have very simple patterns. You die if you touch spikes. You generally don't die if you don't die if you fall down one of those blue columns, they deliver you from the bottom of the screen to the top, and the pipes on the sides deliver you from the left side of the screen to the right. Honestly, the most modern thing this has, aside from the high score leaderboards, is possibly the fact that the screen scrolls, and there's a little bit of sprite rotation and scaling on some of the special effects from the stages. Um, and also there are, excuse me, there are different difficulty levels, which I think mostly make the enemies faster. And there's a turbo mode that makes, I think, you faster, but you can't jump as high or control yourself as. I didn't really play around with that much because a lot of those things are unlocked by beating the game on easy, which I couldn't do because I've never been good at most of these old school arcade games. So yeah, it's not fully aping any one game. I do think the one that's it's closest to is Mappy/City Connection. But you got a little bit of Pac-Man where you have to collect all the things. You got a little bit of Mario Brothers where you go across the thing. Also, there are apparently some pixel-perfect long jumps that I never managed to make, but you can make to jump the wrong way over some of the gaps that have the ramps. So yeah, apparently the tip is like try to get the power-up gems as much as you can, and don't die if you can help it. And really, it's intended to be extremely simple, and I think it does a pretty good job at that generally. But not my thing at all. So yeah, that's about all. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, the music. There's a digitized voice clip at the start of a level that's about what you'd get at that time. And otherwise, the music is also very, traditionally beepsy boopsy.
That
Uh,
the official term?
it is now. So yeah,
Technical Adam.
that's about all that there is to it. Um, I
Yep.
guess if a lot of it comes down to, uh, oh yeah, and the power up gems do move around and respawn, and the power up pickaxe does also respawn after some amount of time. So you can multiple times in one stage. I don't know if all of the enemies, because I've never been entirely sure how many of the green and blue guys there have been. But for example, I saw in the video if you use the pickaxe and take out the pink guy that jumps back and forth, the bouncing Bobby apparently, he does stay gone, which is good. I have a hard time with this kind of thing because I frequently found myself being taken out by guys who were rushing on screen just as I was trying to move off. And the jumps are a little bit. Oh, there is also in the options, in the settings, there is a modern or traditional inertia setting. I did not touch classic inertia with a 10-foot pole. Uh, because whatever that means, I'm sure it's not good for me.
Hmm.
But if you want to make it even more verisimilitude, I guess that's it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really think that's about all I got. How much are they charging for this, Adam?
Not a lot. $5.99, so $6.
Yeah, for that price, I think this is probably a fine. It's fun to try out a little bit. I don't know if you'll ever get super invested in it unless you really like old school arcade games, but it doesn't require a huge investment.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's I think about all I got with this. It's like I said, it's by nature intentionally a simple game.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, I guess that'll about do it for um this game here. Be sure to tune in after the break as we review the Ninth Dawn Creatures remake.